somewhere?
Yes. No, we are not.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Shut up!
Yes.
Welcome back to Kermode Uncut. If you're a regular listener to the 5 Live film review show I do with Simon Mayo, you'll know that I've been off for a few weeks. It's been the summer holidays. And during the time that I was off, The Lone Ranger opened, the new film directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer. And of course it opened amidst great controversy because it got terrible reviews generally, and there was a lot of stuff about how much money it was going to lose. And a number of people got in touch to say, firstly, did you see it? I did, actually. I went to see it in the cinema down in Truro, and actually I thought it was kind of okay. I mean, yes, it's a terrible mess, and politically it's absolutely all over the place, but I'm no fan of Gore Verbinski. But I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed, say, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean or John Carter. I mean, it was a lot of things, but it wasn't that bad. Anyway, people also said, you have this theory about the way in which blockbusters can ensure that they don't lose money if they follow certain rules. Well, surely this is the film that proves that those rules don't work. As you may know, the rules are fairly simple. Firstly, the film has to have an A-list star. Well, this does, Johnny Depp. It has to have a newsworthy budget. It has to be spectacular. All that action spectacle has to be up there on the screen. And it has to not be a comedy. Now, many people have said, well, The Lone Ranger fits those categories and it's going to lose money hand over fist. Doesn't it prove that those rules don't work? Well, actually, no. And for very clear reasons. The first one is, look at the rule about the budget. My rule is it has to have a newsworthy budget, a budget that people write news stories about. And it's certainly the case that people have written news stories about how much money was spent and indeed lost on Lone Ranger. Indeed, when the film opened to terrible reviews, Armie Hammer said, well, most critics wrote those reviews the first time the film was shut down, as it was in, I think it was 2011, because there was a problem. The budget was too big. But then the project started again because the budget was reduced. So the news story wasn't about the budget spiralling out of control. The news story was about the budget coming down from 250 million to 215 million. That's not really the kind of news story you want. Then, on the subject of it being a comedy, yes, it's a Western. Yes, it's an action movie. Yes, it's got some spectacle, but it is, and let's be honest about this, a comedy in exactly the same way that Pirates of the Caribbean was a comedy. In fact, when Johnny Depp was doing all his comedic Keith Richards impression, making Pirates of the Caribbean, the people who backed it started to worry. They started to think that he was going too broadly comic, and, as they knew, comedy is the one thing that if you get it wrong, will sink your movie. See, it's not that the rules don't work, it's that the film didn't obey the rules. The news stories were about the budget shrinking, not expanding, and it is a comedy, even if you don't think it's funny. In fact, it's probably the fact that it's a comedy that people didn't find funny that made it crash and burn. No, as far as I'm concerned, the rules still apply. Lone Ranger notwithstanding.